We're taking you inside the Disney World hotels today to show you why some might be a perfect fit for your upcoming trip and why some could fall short of expectations. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I got a confession for you. I have stayed at the wrong Disney World hotel in the past. Yep, made a big ol' expensive mistake that gave me buyer's regret. But that's why the DFB team and I are making today's video, because we don't want you falling into the same hotel money pit if you can avoid it. So let's look at why some of the Disney World hotels are going to be a perfect fit for your family and why some just aren't. First up, and this is one that I think is a really big concern and problem for a lot of folks, and that's why I'm starting with it, is that the discount isn't what you thought it would be. If you've been searching on the special offers, deals, and discounts page on the Disney World website, then good for you. You are one of the elite who knows how to save money. Just don't let those promises of hotel savings turn around and bite you in the end. Let's use the current Disney hotel deal featured on the website per the release of this video as an example. Right now, you can save up to 30% on rooms at select Disney resort hotels when you stay 5 consecutive nights or longer, or you can save up to 25% on shorter stays. This offer is valid for stays most nights from July 8th to October 3rd, 2024. Sounds great, right? But now it's time to read that fine print. The actual discount you receive doesn't just depend on how many nights you'll be staying at a resort, but also which hotel you decide to book. The hotels that'll offer you the lowest discount when using this promotion are Disney's Art of Animation Resort, the Little Mermaid Standard Rooms, Disney's Beach Club Resort Deluxe Rooms, and Disney's Polynesian Village Resort for standard rooms and villas. Each of these resort stays will only have a 10% discount that you can apply. I won't bore you by droning on and on about all the hotels and their specific discount tiers, but just know that these kinds of special offers are going to look different depending on where you stay. You can see the full list of savings for this specific offer and how it can be applied to the different resorts on the Disney World website, but again, it is small print and you do have to look for it. Also, note that some Disney resorts might not accept the offer at all. You cannot use this featured hotel discount whatsoever on 3-bedroom villas, standard view, water, or pool views at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, random, treehouse villas at Disney's Saratoga Springs, the cabins at Copper Creek Villas and Disney's Wilderness Lodge, the bungalows at Disney's Polynesian Village, deluxe studios and 2-bedroom lock-off villas at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House, that's very specific, and cabins and campsites at Disney's Fort Wilderness. Also, any club level rooms and suites across Disney's moderate and deluxe resorts. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never get the chance to save money on those specific rooms. This might just be the restriction for this particular promotion, which is why it's always a good idea to read that fine print before getting too excited about a certain discount opportunity. Though I will say Polynesian Village and those Little Mermaid rooms over there in Art of Animation are usually really stingy when it comes to discounts. We see those listed on a lot of the does not apply lists. If you don't want to deal with the headache of figuring out which promotions might be the best for what resorts, you can always leave that up to someone else. You know that we always recommend Small World Vacations as our travel agents, so if that's a route you want to go ahead and contact them. You can reach out to them for a free quote just to test the travel agent waters and see if you like it. I'll link their info down in the description for you. Now, you're going to hear us talking about hotel construction a lot on this channel, but that's for a couple different reasons. Reason number 1, resort construction is constantly changing, so a different lineup of hotels this month might be getting updates and renovations and entire remodels than what we told you about last month. And reason number 2, if you're blindsided by the construction and don't realize it's going to be happening during your vacation, you might be in for a very sorry surprise, because while the aftermath of a construction project is nice, the process during a remodel really pulls you out of the niceness or overall immersive vibes that the hotel might have sold you on before. So what resort construction should you be aware of right now? First off, let's get the most exciting news out of the way. The new Polynesian DVC Villas, which Disney's calling Island Tower, will be opening in December. For now, you're going to see a lot of construction going on off the shores of Seven Seas Lagoon. Not to mention the construction is currently obstructing the walkway between the Polynesian and Grand Floridian, so you'll have to stick with the monorail in the meantime, or those boats. But once the tower is all finished, by the end of the year, expect a new DVC resort stay that completely embraces the rich culture from the Polynesian Islands. On June 4th, DVC members can start making early rental reservations, and on June 5th, annual pass holders can start booking. On June 6th, everyone can make reservations at this new tower. But that's not the only project DVC's been working on lately. Disney Vacation Club is also redesigning all of the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Ultimately, more than 350 refreshed cabins are going to replace the existing ones. From the early peaks of it we've gotten so far, these cabins are very modern and sleek, but still have rustic touches. Now, these refreshed cabins are going to make their debut starting on July 1st. Speaking of July 1st, from July 1st to July 31st, the world premiere food court at Disney's All-Star Movies Resort is going to be undergoing refurbishment. Now, this could be a real hassle for you because while the dining area is getting a facelift, you basically have to kind of take advantage of food only through mobile order and through random little spots around the resort. So if any of you remember the hassle that was getting food at Caribbean Beach Resort when the whole thing was under construction and you had to go to like specific hotel rooms to get grab and go stuff, it was real weird and definitely not worth the price of staying at the hotel at that particular time. So if you have a booking at All-Star Movies in July, it may make sense to switch to a different All-Star for that time frame. Starting in May 2024, lasting through November, some rooms at Port Orleans Resort French Quarter are going to be getting some much needed TLC. This means that rooms will be more limited to book here and that you may hear some construction noise during the day, depending on where your room is. Now, remember, construction noise during the day isn't going to bother too many people because most of them will be in the parks. But if you're a napper or if you have a napper in your family, this could be really problematic. So be sure to bring that white noise machine or a white noise app or something. Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort is also set to undergo a really long refurb. This one won't start until September, but these refurbs will last a whole year. They're slated to wrap up in September 2025. So if you're staying at Bay Lake around this time, make sure you factor in extra time for travel since the typical routes may not be open. There are also going to be fewer rooms available at Bay Lake, so be prepared for that. Book a little earlier. A new table service restaurant, Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers, is headed to the boardwalk at some point this year. And while we're not really sure when that'll be, we do know when it finally does open, it'll serve a variety of sweet treats and cakes, obviously, and also some savory options too. And there'll be a champagne bar. But right now, that is still mega under construction, and it's still looking like a construction zone for sure. Over at the Boardwalk Inn, you're also going to get the Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs. That's coming right along. It looks like it's almost done. It's just a kiosk on the boardwalk though, so it's not going to cause you too much trouble in terms of construction noise. Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa has already undergone a lot of changes in recent years with the opening of their new Mary Poppins themed villas and the updated Narcoossee's restaurant and changes at Citrico's and Victoria and Albert's, but the renovations aren't done. 1900 Park Fair just opened and the Disney World website does warn that the hotel is currently undergoing refurbishment. We are going to see some big changes in the lobby. We're not quite sure when. We're getting some mentions from cast members that they're going to close large portions of the lobby. We don't have confirmation yet, but just be prepared. And of course, if you want an update on the latest Disney World construction projects for not just the hotels, but the rides and the restaurants too, we've got a full page on the Disney Food Blog website that updates these announcements daily. Just type in Disney Food Blog plus closures and construction into your Google search and you'll find our main page that'll give you the latest 411 on what refurbs are happening around the Disney World bubble to help you decide which resort's going to make the most sense for you on your next trip. For some folk, a Disney World resort is a major part of the overall Disney World experience. You want to swim in the pools, you want to dine at the restaurants, shop in the stores, lounge on the beach sides, take part in the afternoon activities. In other words, you consider your hotel just as important as the theme parks. But if you feel like your hotel is just going to be a place where you crash each night and get changed, maybe argue with your family over who gets the shower first thing in the morning, and then you're headed out for early entry, then you're going to want to save as much money on your lodgings as you can. But AJ, you're saying, what if I still want the deluxe resort perks, even if I'm not planning on spending a lot of time at the deluxe resort itself? Well, I hear ya, but let me just make a counter argument for that. So one of the biggest deluxe resort perks you'll be rewarded with your deluxe resort stay are those extended evening hours, which will let you linger in select parks on certain nights up to 2 extra hours after they close for the general public, meaning you'll have more time and way shorter ride lines. And that's a great additional perk if you were already planning on staying at a deluxe resort in the first place. However, we're talking about spending $500 plus per night on a hotel stay just for 2 additional hours in the parks, probably one night that you're there. And that's not even including the actual price of the park ticket itself, which you'll still have to pay for to get that extended evening hour benefit. So here are 3 alternative options I've got for you instead. Alternative number 1, look into after hours events. When you purchase the separate after hours event ticket, then you get 3 extra hours to enjoy the park you're at with much lower wait times, cooler temperatures and complimentary snacks. Not to mention, even if you don't buy a regular park ticket for your after-hours event day, you can still enter the park a couple hours early for that pre-party mix-in, meaning you won't have to miss out on the park's nighttime spectacular. And let's do a little math here. If I'm going to Magic Kingdom on June 27th with my family of 4, I can get after-hours tickets that night for $165 per person. So $660 total, which is very expensive. But again, you'll be able to pretty much get on all the rides you want with shorter waits, free snacks through the night, and that pre-party entry time to avoid missing happily ever after. Cool. If instead I decide I want to book even one night at a deluxe resort to get those extended evening hours, which would be available for Magic Kingdom on the night of the 26th, because you can find extended evening hours scheduled out way ahead of your trip on the Disney World calendar. The cheapest Magic Kingdom area resort I can find around this time is a resort view room at Wilderness Lodge for $551. But in order to get those extended evening hours, I first have to pay for a regular day park ticket for my whole family, and that's going to be an extra $688 if I'm just doing a one-day Magic Kingdom ticket option for 2 adults, 2 kids. So in the end, it's only going to cost me $660 for my entire family to go to after hours, since I could honestly be staying at my Aunt Susan's Orlando condo and still be able to access the after hours events as long as I've got those tickets, versus $1,239, which will give me access to the extended evening hours for 2 hours on one night. Again, there's a lot of variables beyond just that surface math that you'll want to consider, including tons of pros and cons for each possibility, but that's just an illustration for you regarding why you might not want to settle for a deluxe resort if it's just the extended evening hours you're after. Okay, alternative 2, book a room at the Swan and Dolphin. The Swan and Dolphin are 2 separate hotels owned by Marriott that are placed right next to each other, smack dab on Disney World property within walking distance of both Epcot and Hollywood Studios. While these hotels have solid restaurants, fancy vibes, and the convenience of the Skyliner, which is again only steps away from the hotels, one of the best parts about staying at either location is the fact that they're treated like deluxe Disney World resorts, despite only having a moderate price point or even less than that depending on what time of year you visit. Rooms at the Swan tend to start around $200 per night. Rooms at the Dolphin tend to start around $270. Best of all, they'll still give you that extended evening hours benefit too. And don't forget, all Disney World resorts, whether they be value, moderate, deluxe, whatever, also come with those early theme park entry benefits. And while that may not give you 2 hours worth of extra time, it'll still give you a 30-minute head start to your park day on any day at any park. Now, we're about to enter into hurricane season, which starts on June 1st and lasts until November 30th. So it's basically like hurricane half a year. So what exactly does hurricane season in Florida mean? Nope, it doesn't mean you'll for sure have a hurricane. More often than not, you can probably visit Disney World and only have to worry about those occasional summer showers. However, hurricane season is a time when those subtropical cyclones are more likely to form versus other times of the year. In the past, peak hurricane activities popped up more frequently during the months of August and September, but again, not a guarantee, just a higher probability. So when you're planning your Disney trip during hurricane season, you might want to consider your hotel stay, not just from a vacation standpoint, but from a protective standpoint too. Good news first, Disney World's hotels are all generally considered safe when it comes to hurricanes. They're built for it. They know where they're located. Though limited spots like Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground or the Treehouse Villas may need to be evacuated in some situations for safety concerns. Not only has each resort been built to endure serious weather concerns, but you're also going to find that all the resorts prep ahead of time. They know that guests might be stranded there for the day instead of being out in the parks, and this means you'll likely find to-go sack lunches for an additional fee, possible meet and greets with characters out in the lobbies, maybe even free games in the arcade areas too, just to help you kill time with the kids. But which Disney resorts are far and away my favorite ones to hunker down in during those super stormy days? Because you know the DFB team always happens to be there during hurricanes. Well, many Disney Vacation Club villas, like the ones you're going to find at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Boardwalk Inn, Yacht and Beach Club, aren't just spacious, but they come equipped with a full kitchen and laundry facilities. Even the cheaper family suites over at All Star Music come with a kitchenette and still have a full-size fridge for your disposal. So if you stock up on groceries and essentials before the storm, you won't have to worry about leaving the hotel and putting yourself out in the elements during the worst of it in order to track down food. Also, rooms that are contained within the central building of a Disney resort. If you've been following DFB for a long time, you know that this is absolutely one of my sticking points. So the rooms that are all in one building with the central lobby, like you'll find in the main tower of the Contemporary Resort or inside Grand Destino at Coronado Springs, or if you're in the main building of Wilderness Lodge. This means you'll never have to go outside when you need to walk to the resort's lobby for food or gift shop necessities, rainy day entertainment offerings. That can be a huge benefit. Now, if you're at Grand Floridian and you're at one of the external buildings, same thing with Polynesian. If you're at Bay Lake Tower instead of the regular A-frame tower at the Contemporary, then you're going to have to walk outside, almost outside. I guess Bay Lake, there's a little cover there, but you're still going to have to go outside, and you don't want to be outside during a hurricane. So if you don't have enough food and enough battery power and stuff like that in your room, then you're definitely not going to get the best experience you possibly can during a hurricane in Disney World. So I will always book a room inside kind of a main lobby area of a building if I'm going to be staying at Disney World kind of in August and September. Now, these hotels are not cookie cutter. Each Disney World resort has its own vibrant personality. You got over-the-top, in-your-face Disney characters surrounding you over at Art of Animation. You get to be a part of Mardi Gras in the most family-friendly and tame way possible at Port Orleans French Quarter. You can live like a Victorian royal for a couple nights at Grand Floridian. Basically, whatever vibe you're really after, Disney's got a hotel that tries to match it. And while there is a lot of love about each and every resort, there's also an equal amount of not love for some of them, depending on what you're after. For instance, if you want a resort where you can dine somewhere new each night, but you still want to save money on your overall hotel stay, don't settle for one of the all-star resorts where you'll only have one food court. Consider booking a value resort on the Skyliner route instead. Both Art of Animation and Pop Century might have limited food choices in and of themselves, but you can easily take a Skyliner over to the other moderates and deluxe resorts along the route for even more dining options to choose from. Plus, the Skyliner is also going to get you over to Epcot, and we know there's lots to eat there. If you want to really live in the lap of luxury, though, during your Disney World vacation, because you don't know when you're going to be back, so you might as well go big or go home, then you're not going to want to book a room that's not going to give you the benefits and fanciness you might be after. While Old Key West and Saratoga Springs can be nice and peaceful deluxe rooms to stay in, the theming around these resorts is going to be more subtle and may not give you that immersive, high-end experience you think you're paying for. Instead, you may want to consider a deluxe stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which has a full-on savannah right there in the resort's backyard, or Grand Floridian, where you can book a spa day and walk to the Magic Kingdom instead of fretting over Disney's transportation services, or even Grand Destino Tower, which might be a moderate hotel but still provides you with lots of art and elegance with its classic Mexican, Spanish, and Southwest American influences in the lobby. Salvador Dali is all over the place here, hotel rooms, several restaurants and lounges as well. And if you're traveling with kids and you want to give them that big grand hotel room reveal moment that's really going to be jaw-dropping for them, you're probably not going to get that reaction when you stay somewhere like the Riviera or the Boardwalk or Yacht Club. Sure, these rooms are sophisticated, but the overall Disney theming is going to be subtle. For something more in your face, you'll probably be better off booking a room at Port Orleans Riverside, a royal room where you'll have fireworks on the headboards, or a family suite at Art of Animation, which will be themed completely around either Lion King, Finding Nemo, or Cars, or even a main tower room at the Contemporary for that Incredibles theming. Hey, it's not my favorite design choice that Disney's ever made. It's definitely a bold one, though, that your kids might love. So how can you make sure you're picking the right hotel style and price range and resort amenities for your travel group? Well, you can study up on each of the Disney hotels before you reach that final decision. We've got a free guide that covers every single Disney World resort, from value to moderate to deluxe, even the villas, to show you each specific resort's strengths and weaknesses, as well as their price ranges and overall theming. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/hotels after this, and we're going to send it your way for free. So I wanted to make this a separate point from the resort construction one, because pool closures can really be the final nail in the coffin for a trip that hasn't even officially kicked off. So here are the pool closures you need to know about now so it doesn't ruin your trip later. From January 2025 through June 2025, say it with me, Stormalong Bay and the Shipwreck Pool are going to be closed at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club. And wow, aside from being walking distance to Epcot, a big reason why you'd want to book either the yacht or the beach club in the first place is so you can experience this mini water park right outside your hotel. So this is definitely going to be a major bummer once 2025 rolls around. This closure is due to routine maintenance, and while you won't be able to experience that sand bottom pool or wrap around lazy river from the comfort of an inner tube or that massive 230-foot long water slide, you can still swim at the resort's leisure pools like the Tidal and Admiral and Dunes Cove, which none of you know what those are because they're boring. I mean, they're fine, but they're boring. Another major pool that'll be closed starting at the beginning of next year is the Fantasia pool at Disney's All-Star Movies Resort, which is also going to receive some routine maintenance between January and April 2025. During this extended pool closure, you can still swim in the duck pond pool here, as well as the feature pools at the neighboring All-Star Resort hotels. So what happens if you are staying at one of these hotels next year and you feel cheated out of your fun day in the water? Well, starting in January 2025, those staying at a Disney resort, and I mean any Disney-owned resort, will get free park tickets to the water parks on their arrival day. You'll be able to use this perk at either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, and only on your check-in day. So don't forget about that and make the pool situation bad all over again. Hold the phone. Is this true? Should you actually be avoiding the Disney World resorts, period? Well, maybe. It all depends on your trip's itinerary, really. If you're planning on spending more time at Universal Orlando, for instance, then you may want to stay in one of their hotels instead so you can keep within walking distance to both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. Plus, you won't have to worry about that $30 per day parking fee or parking in the Universal garages at the start of each day. Not to mention, if you stay at Universal Premier Hotel, the most high-end option, which starts at $325 per night, you'll not only get a deluxe room close to the parks, but you'll also get a complimentary unlimited Universal Express Pass, which will help you bypass the majority of the main ride lines whenever and however many times you want. That is a huge, huge deal. Considering the fact that Disney's moderate resorts tend to range between $300 and $400 per night, this switchover of allegiance might just be worth it, if only for the Universal Express Pass privileges alone, because those things cost like $300. And hey, for all my Legoland families out there, the Lego hotels are not only adorable, but they'll also provide you with free breakfast each morning and separate kids' sleeping areas in every room. Hello. And there's even a daily in-room treasure hunt. What? With a complimentary Lego souvenir as your prize. Like, how cute is that? And don't forget, you may not even want to book a hotel at all. Instead, you might want to consider booking an Airbnb or a VRBO so you can stay in an entire house or townhome during your vacation. Sorry, I know they call it Verbo, but like, I've been using it since before they were advertising, so I always say VRBO. Anyway, if you have more than 5 or 6 people in your family, it might be difficult to find budget-friendly accommodations at Disney World. But with an Airbnb or a Verbo, you can book a bigger place to lodge the whole family under one roof without potentially breaking the bank or having everyone trying to strangle each other by the end of the trip because Aunt Susan keeps hogging the shower. Now, the Airbnb life sure isn't for everyone, so you're going to have to do a bit of investigating before you book one if you decide you want to go that route. Keep in mind that many of these rentals charge extra fees and require guests to do cleaning tasks and stuff before checking out, although I heard Airbnb's trying to crack down on that. Not to mention these houses are rented out by people. The Airbnb Verbo sites are just more of a middleman to help connect future guests with property renters. But you can always check out a specific property's rating and reviews before you commit to any particular one. So please, please, please do that. There are tons of rental houses around Disney World, like bajillions of them. So check those out, look at those reviews, make sure you're booking one that has a clean record. Now, speaking of non-Disney hotels, Good Neighbor Hotels will partner with Disney to help give guests a potentially cheaper place to stay while keeping them closest to the parks and continuing to give them similar Disney resort perks. I've stayed at Good Neighbor Hotels and other nearby non-Disney properties during many a Disney World vacation. And while I really do love the cheaper price point, here are the things I don't love about them that I wish I would have researched more beforehand. First, transportation is either limited or non-existent. Many Good Neighbor hotels might say they have transportation services to and from the parks, but what they don't tell you is how much more complicated those shuttle services can be. Sometimes the shuttles cost an extra fee, where you might just be better off renting a private ride share like an Uber or Lyft instead. Sometimes the shuttles have super limited pickup and drop-off times instead of constantly running like the Disney transportation does all day long. And all the time, those Good Neighbor Hotel shuttles will not, I repeat, will not be able to pick you up in front of Magic Kingdom Park. Instead, in order to reach your non-Disney bus, you'll still have to take either a monorail or ferry boat to the Transportation and Ticket Center and then wait for your ride to pick you up from there, unlike the Disney Resort buses, which pick you up right at the front gate. Also, there usually aren't as many food options, if any. The Disney resorts typically pride themselves on their food service options available to their guests. Even at the value resorts, which only have one dining option available, they still at least have a food court that'll provide a pretty wide selection in one single quick service restaurant. While it really, again, all depends on the Good Neighbor Hotel, you may not have all that many food choices provided by the hotel itself, so that's something to research. Or the restaurants that you do have there may have limited hours that don't align with your vacation itinerary. Remember, you can always DoorDash some grub to your hotel if you're in a pinch, but you'll definitely want to look at the amenities offered at whatever hotel you're considering before you go. That way, you don't default into thinking your hotel's going to have restaurants just like the Disney World resorts do, but they wind up actually just having those microwavable meals in a tiny freezer section. And of course, they're missing that Disney-fied theming. Come on, you know it's true. The big reason people love Disney World hotels, aside from their theme park convenience, is because they immediately transport you into this exciting new vacation adventure right from the beginning. And while many of Disney's Good Neighbor hotels are still nice and very well kept, they're not going to come with a Mickey wake-up call or character dining experiences or monorails driving right through the middle of the resort or pools with giant sea serpents slides or bathroom sinks with little magic lamps for the faucets. Yep, Good Neighbor hotels are generally cheaper and can still provide you with plenty of Disney-specific perks during your stay. But if you want to be immersed in the Disney magic and you want to stay that way all vacation long, then saving for a Disney World resort might still be something you want to prioritize. Okay, good thing you didn't purchase the wrong Disney World hotel, eh? Otherwise, that would have been a disaster. Believe me, I've been there. Now, before you go, there's still more resort research that needs to be done. So head to disneyfoodblog.com/hotels if you want an extra hand when it comes to making the right Disney resort decision. It's kind of like how we all used to get that VHS tape that showed us all the Disney hotels and watch it over and over and over again. Yeah, it's like that, except it's free in a PDF. There you go. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.